Welcome to Just Asia, AHRC TV's weekly human rights program. These are the headlines. Growing demands seek return of disappeared persons in Bangladesh. Thai military officers sentenced to jail for assaulting villagers. Caste discrimination law ineffective without justice institution reform. Pakistan's religious body proposes changes to Women Protection Act. Indonesia sees rising child sexual violence. Welcome to AHRC TV's Just Asia. I am Julia Rablondo. This week's episode begins with growing demands seeking the return of disappeared persons in Bangladesh. Families are taking to the streets and holding press conferences to voice their concern and seek justice. On May 26th, relatives of 19 victims of enforced disappearances took to the streets in the country's capital, Dhaka. They made a human chain in front of the National Press Club and were joined by prominent human rights defenders, academic scholars, and civil society members. On the same day, several other families voiced their demands in Chittagong and Khulna cities. The wife, son, and brothers of Mr. Bali Mansoor Ahmad held a press conference at the Chittagong Press Club. Mr. Mansoor has been disappeared since the police arrested him from the street in March 2013. Another person named Rizvi Hassan, who was arrested together with Mansoor, has been found detained in Chittagong jail. In Khulna Press Club, the families of 3 victims held a press conference. Abdullah Al-Saim, Shawib Bishwas, and MD Manirul Islam, aka Babu, were all picked up on May 12 by law enforcement officials. For 2 weeks, their families have been requesting the police to tell them their whereabouts, but the police deny having picked them up. Moreover, instead of registering formal complaints on the disappearances, the police only agreed to record general diary entries on the condition that the families remove law enforcement agencies from their complaints and rewrite the incident as abducted by unknown people and thus missing.
Rem বাংলাদেশের প্রতিটি প্রশাসনের কাছে আমরা বহুবার গিয়েছি আমাদের ভাইরা কোথায় আপনারাই পারবেন তাদেরকে ফিরিয়ে এনে দেন আমরা এখন আমাদের ভাইদেরকে
অপহরণকারীর ভূমিকা পালন করে তখন আমাদের জনগণের কি চাহিদা আছে আজকে প্রধানমন্ত্রীকে জবাবদিহি করতে হবে কারণ এই যে প্রায় 30,000 একটা তরুণ ছাত্রের সাথে দিয়েছে বাড়ি থেকে উঠিয়ে নেওয়া তারপরে গায়েব করে দেওয়া 70 টাকা কাউকে কোনো খবর না পাওয়া কাউকে সীমান্তের ওপারে পৌঁছে দেওয়া এখানে আমাদের রাষ্ট্র যেমন দায়ী তার সাথে দায়ী আছে ভারতীয় কর্তৃপক্ষ ওই খাবের পিছনে আছে ভারতীয় গোয়েন্দা বাহিনী ভারতীয় গোয়েন্দা বাহিনী বাংলাদেশকে আজকে সিকিমের মতো বা ভুটানের মতো নেওয়া হচ্ছে এবং তাদের অধিকাংশই আর ফেরত আসছে না কেউ কেউ কারো লাশ উদ্ধার করা হচ্ছে গুলিবিদ্ধ লাশ কেউ কেউ জীবিত ফিরে আসলেও কোনো কথা বলতে চাচ্ছেন না এখানে আমরা সন্দেহ করছি রাষ্ট্রীয় বাহিনী দ্বারা এই ধরনের গুমের ঘটনা ঘটছে অনেকে পাচ্ছেন তাদেরকে গুম করা হয়েছে এবং যাই হোক এবং আরো যেখানে যখন মামলা মামলা নেওয়া হয় না
Next, a provincial court in Thailand's northeast sentenced military officers Lieutenant Colonel Poramin Pomgag and Lieutenant General Porameth Kongag to 3 years and 2 years imprisonment, respectively, on May 31st for violent assault against anti-mining villagers. 2 officers were convicted for involvement in the Black May incident of 15 May 2014, during which some 200 armed men dressed in black stormed the checkpoint leading up to the controversial Tungkam Company gold mine in Banamnongbong village, Wang Samphung district, Leh province, in an attempt to transport mineral ores from the mine. The unidentified men then assaulted the villagers, used guns to intimidate them, and held some of them hostages. According to the Ratanamani Polka, the lawyer representing the anti-mining villagers, the two military officers will submit a bail request to appeal the court verdict. Tension between villagers and the company reached a peak in September 2013 when the villagers barricaded the mine entrance, blocking trucks, each of which normally carries 15 tons of cyanide waste, from passing through their villages. Although the sound of the machines disappeared and the sound of chirping birds returned, the villagers had to leave in fear of judicial harassment, thugs, gunmen, and death threats. Currently, Tungkom Company has halted mining operations since mid-2013. However, the company is trying to get permission to renew its mining concession in Wansaphung district. In Nepal, 4 years after the promulgation of the Caste-Based Discrimination and Untouchability Act, the law has become merely a paper tiger. While 45 cases of caste-based discrimination have been registered over the past 4 years, very few of them have reached the court. Most of the cases end up in agreement outside the police stations and courts. This has not been addressed by either Dalit civil society, the media, or the government. Just Asia caught up with Chairperson of the Jagaran Media Center and Collective Campaign for Peace, Rem Bahadur BK, to learn his views.
The Caste-Based Discrimination and Untouchability Offence and Punishment Act 2011, endorsed by the Legislative Parliament, made any practice of discrimination and untouchability, both in private and public places, a crime and punishable according to the law. The government has also established a mechanism to end caste-based discrimination and untouchability and promote Dalit rights in 2011 for the practical and effective implementation of all laws and state commitment. Despite these declarations and legal and constitutional provisions, Dalits are still facing worst form of discrimination on the ground of caste in every sphere of life. Rights have not been realized. These practices in the society have not changed significantly. Dalits are facing abuses and brutal attack while attempting to enjoy their rights and freedom enshrined by the Constitution. To take some examples, after the implementation of the Act, altogether 5 lose their lives being a Dalit. The attack and killing of Seth Damai of Dailek, Manveer Sunar of Kalikot, Rem Bahadur of Bardia district, Shiva Shankar Das of Saptari district. Kumar Nepali of Roswa are the extreme in its form. The state has been unreceptive and ignorant of these issues. This has drawn our attention, and we Dalit civil society working for the right of Dalit are concerned about such negligences of state machinery and impunity.
According to the Asian Human Rights Commission, the question is not about the implementation of a particular law, but whether the current justice institutions are equipped and able to administer justice to victims of caste-based discrimination. Until the focus of Dalit civil society and the government is not bringing necessary reforms to the country's justice institutions, Dalits in Nepal will remain under the radar for discrimination and injustice. Moving to Pakistan. The country's Council of Islamic Ideology has made suggestions to amend Punjab's Women Protection Act in compliance with Islamic teachings. The suggested amendments include that a husband may lightly beat his wife for defying him. Co-education is to be banned after primary level, and women should not be allowed to receive male visitors. A constitutional body that advises the Pakistani legislature or whether laws are in line with Islamic teachings, the Council consistently attempts to stop the development of women's rights. After the Punjab Assembly unanimously passed the Women's Protection Act 2016, Orthodox clerics denounced it as being in conflict with the Quran and the Constitution of Pakistan and vowed to use all mediums to oppose it. Through the Council, Muslim fundamentalists are attempting to push Pakistan, a nuclear Islamic state, back 1,500 years, when women in the Arabian Peninsula were treated no better than animals. Pakistan's military establishment and government remained silent in the wake of the fundamentalists. Proud of being a member of the nuclear club with the other developed countries, Pakistan is unable to protect the rights of half of its population. In Indonesia, sexual violence against children is a serious problem. Two recent cases of such violence include the gang rape and murder of 14-year-old Yuyun, a student from Rejang Lebong, Bengkulu province, and the gang rape of 13-year-old girl in Surabaya, East Java province. Data released by the Ministry of Law and Human Rights shows the number of cases involving children reached 3,000 in 2013 and drastic increase from 500 in 2010. Furthermore, the National Commission on Violence Against Women documented 16,217 cases of violence against women and children in 2015, a rise from 11,207 in the previous year, with 1,657 of those cases being sexual violence cases. Human rights activists have urged the government to pay serious attention to the issue of sexual violence against children and women. The government's proposal to legally use chemical castration against the perpetrators has been vetoed by the activists, who believe that apart from being expensive, chemical castration has proven to be an ineffective deterrent for sex offenders. The government should provide compensation and other rehabilitation to victims of sexual violence. Related to sexual violence, kindergarten teachers in Jakarta organized a show concerning the protection and care of children. To learn more about sexual violence against children, Just Asia speaks to Ega Melindo, a women rights defender at the Women's Solidarity.
Menurut aku, penanganan terhadap kekerasan seksual terhadap anak itu seharusnya pertama dari untuk korbannya itu sebenarnya soal psikis yang diterima oleh korban ketika korbannya memang masih hidup, atau ketika korbannya sudah mati berarti untuk keluarganya psikis perlindungan psikis dari masyarakat itu harus diperhatikan betul sama pemerintah dan masyarakat sekitar. Soal keadilan sih yang diterima oleh korban kekerasan seksual, keluarganya ketika korban yang mengalami kekerasan sudah meninggal. Nah, kalau untuk hukuman kebiri aku nggak setuju karena menurutku kekerasan seksual atau pelecehan seksual yang terjadi itu bukan soal semata-mata karena urusan penis dan vagina seseorang, tapi itu soal mindset pelaku memandang si objek kekerasan ini apa, dan kekerasan seksual yang terjadi terhadap anak itu bukan hanya soal libido, tapi soal mindset tadi, soal konstruksi berpikir pelaku yang harus dirubah ketika memandang si objek kekerasan ini atau anak ini sendiri. Dan apakah pemerintah bisa menjamin hukuman kebiri ini akan memberikan efek jerak untuk pelaku kekerasan seksual? Soalnya konstruksi hukum di Indonesia ini juga belum bisa menjamin, jangan sampai nanti ada salah tangkap atau salah memberikan hukuman, ternyata dia bukan pelaku. Konstruksi hukum dan keterjaminan perangkat hukum di Indonesia apakah sudah menjamin itu dia?
That is all for this episode of Just Asia. For more on these and other issues, please visit www.humanrights.asia or www.alrc.asia/justasia. Thank you for watching and see you next week.